Hi, I wanted to talk a little bit about depression because I've gotten a couple of questions about what it is, how to navigate different phases, what to do, if it's possible to come out on the other side, and a little bit about the factors that influence it, because things are multifaceted. They draw from multiple aspects in order to be what they are. It's not simply one dimension that you would look at when you consider such a topic. It's not just that something is broken and it can only be fixed in a certain way. There's so many factors that come into play for something like this. And the first thing that popped into my mind concerning depression was the dark night of the soul, when one goes through intense negative exploration of self, negative experience that tests one endurance, initiates one into a new mode of operating and looking at the world. Now, this can be months or years of feeling like you're absolutely losing yourself, absolutely losing everything you've known about yourself. The things that you used to love, who you used to be, your friends, even the way that you used to feel about things. And it's really scary, and there's no way to really predict when it will end or how it will go. But that perspective, rather than simply saying a person has this diagnosis or is broken in this way and that's that, they will have to take medication for the rest of their lives, or they can't do normal things based on this or that diagnosis. That's not a perspective that can help guide the soul through these types of circumstances. One of the things that came up concerning depression is perhaps you are tired of doing things the way that you've always done them, of draining your energy in certain ways, of being there for people in a way that you can no longer afford to be. Deep rest, a deep state where one is rewired and remade in an image that is more supportive of an aspect that is evolved. It has moved on, but maybe you're not ready to catch up yet. Sometimes your body's got to go in deep rest mode and slow everything down mode and get sick mode so that you listen. And one of the things that we can do in the process of looking at the phases of spiritual emergence and growth is realizing what you can do at which phase. Perhaps you need to tune in more and listen to what's being said. Maybe you need some tools to navigate that, to know how to approach your body in such a state, to know how to care for yourself when you're feeling down. I would know that it does not do to beat yourself up further for feeling this way, as if it's your fault. It's not your fault. You're not doing something wrong. You're not being punished. Sometimes we have to go through what we go through, and we don't always get to see what the end is. We don't always get to see what that is funneling you towards or what it's going to mean. And sometimes it comes and goes in waves. You go through a period like that, it's very intense, and it makes you question everything. And then you come out of it and you have a new understanding of the world, or you feel like a different person, or you feel like you're more invigorated to take things on. Now, there are multiple factors that can interact, that can actually be approached in order to try to understand where it's coming from. If we approach the physical aspect and take into consideration potential toxins or energy drainage in the environment, if we take into consideration the diet, because of the second brain being the gut and the fact that 70% of serotonin is released in your gut, that can have a big impact on depressive phases, feelings, or even a long-term depression. Things like the habits and the routines one has crafted around themselves. And I know that it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's a cycle that's limiting, because you can actually get into a rut, like not taking care of yourself as well, and that can enhance the depression. And that can cause further dysfunction. But sometimes little things that interject that get in the way of that, little tools, little means of relief that you can put into place to help yourself go through this. I want you to know that this is not your fault. That whatever you're going through it with yourself for a reason. The only way that you can actually come out the other end is if you allow it to be what it's going to be. Fighting it never did anybody any good. What you can do is support yourself. Support yourself on the different levels. For example, talking to somebody, releasing some of this pent-up pain, working on the emotional and energetic level, such as the emotional freedom technique, where you tap on different meridian sequences on the body which help release all density and emotions. There's no one size fits all or one answer that will cover the entire spectrum. But there is support, there is hope, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and there is a deeper meaning that underlies everything, a grid that's holding everything together, that perhaps on the other side of such dark experiences, you will see yourself as connected to. You will see yourself as supported and loved. You will be uplifted from this. I can't promise you when or how, but I can tell you that this too shall pass, all suffering ends. And in the end, may all beings be free.